African Americans also participated in the war effort. At least one African American from Johnston County, Nita Marp, served in the U.S. colored troops. But wealthy planters and their sons also had male slaves to wait on them in the Army. Bob Dillard was one such body servant from another part of the state. A.G. Powell chose a slave named Wright to follow his teenage son Charlie, a boyishly handsome soldier who started as a foot soldier and later transferred to the artillery. Charlie recalled his servant's loyalty and talents as a forager.
Many warm meals were sent me from the rear by him while I was on the firing line. He was of a pleasing address and carried in his breast pocket a daguerreotype of his young master, as he called me, which he showed to the young ladies while on his foraging expeditions. He usually came to the camp loaded to the limit, and most of it was contributed. He was furnished with sufficient money, but worked diplomacy. Much milk, butter, eggs, chickens, loaf bread, and hog killings, and even preserves. Dried fruit and honey came his way. Also invitations to dine at private homes, though I was too modest and bashful to accept.
Former slave Caroline Richardson lived and worked at the Ransom Bridgers farm on what is now Glen Road at the I-40-NC-42 intersection. She related a conversation she'd had with a person from the North.
One of the Yankees found me and asked me how many pairs of shoes I gets a year. I tell him that I gets one pair. Then he asked me what I wear in the summertime. When I tell him that I ain't wearing nothing but a shirt and that I goes barefooted in the summer, he cusses awful and he damns my master. Mammy said that they told her and Papa that they'd get some land and a mule if they were free. You see, they tried to turn the slaves against their masters.
Parker Poole was a former slave in Clayton Township with this observation.
I saw the Confederates, General Johnson, come through Clayton, and the Yankees come through the second day after they come through. I think I seen enough Yankees come through there to whoop anything on God's earth. When they told me I was free, I didn't notice it. I stayed on and worked just like I've been doing, right on with Mississippi Master. I stayed there a year after the surrender.
Philadelphia's Christian Recorder reported on May 27, 1865, that as Reverend Henry McNeil Turner, chaplain of the 1st Regiment in the U.S. Colored Troops, rode into Smithfield earlier that month, he encountered a slave woman whose child had been taken from her and hidden. As one of General William T. Sherman's staff questioned the woman's belligerent mistress on the piazza, Turner offered a proposition.
It is reported that the child is hid in town, but she says her husband has taken it into the country. I now propose, as he has 5 children standing here, that we take one to be held as hostage until the colored child is returned to its mother. The words had barely left my mouth before such running, crying, and squealing took place among the children that my indignation melted into laughter. The very utterance of these words frightened the children nearly to death and made the mother tremble. At this juncture, learning that the general had taken matter in hand, I left.
There is no record regarding how or if this matter was resolved.